Hey, you too. So, I am the type of person I watch videos, motivational videos, income videos, financial motivation, spiritual motivation, stuff that motivates me. Stuff that kind of gives you insight, structure, an idea of what's what, how things are, the way it's going to be, or whatever the case may be, right? Remind you, I'm poor. I'm not rich at all. I'm not balling. I'm poor. When I say poor, I don't have a car. When I say poor, I'm living like, when I say poor, I mean actually poor, poor. And I call it financial abuse because I'm not poor because I'm lazy. I'm poor because I'm deprived. Honestly, deprived. So for me, when I'm hearing people say, they're doing financial motivation and stuff like that. The question is, how do you financially motivate yourself from nothing? From absolutely nothing. When I say a woman coming from welfare, how can you financially motivate yourself from ground zero? I know for me, um, when things started looking crazy and stuff like that, I started feeling like, hey, I need to motivate myself from a perspective that is realistic. And realistically, a lot of us have nothing. Right now, if there wasn't Section 8 or a housing authority, we would be homeless. Our children would be in the streets. Most people in my community would be homeless because of the financial abuse that's going on by higher up authorities and stuff like that. And I can't really say higher up authorities because I say this all the time. Our leadership is even going through financial turmoil according to appearance. So for me, it's way more than just what people say. It's way more than just what you do. Okay, we are coming from nothing. We got to get it out the mud. Like Pastor might say, he had to get it out the mud. He had to get it from nothing. You know what I'm saying? And when you have to get it from nothing, where do you begin? I have nothing. I don't have a job. I don't have financial resources. I'm homeless. I don't have family. I don't have friends. I don't have anyone I can borrow anything from. I don't have any form of security to actually begin a portfolio that's powerful as far as when it comes to money. And that's crazy, right? So let's start mapping out paths. Let's start talking about ways that you can actually build a solid network or portfolio, income portfolio or network from just simple stuff that you do. A little goes a long way. But I don't have a little to spare. A little goes a long. I don't have anything to spare. Okay, where are we going to start from? I got people that say, oh, start your own business. You don't have the network to start your own business. First of all, in order to lead, you first have to follow. In order to be an employer, maybe I have to be an employee for a little while. I'm not given the opportunity to be an employer right now. I have nothing. So, how am I going to employ someone and pay someone when I have nothing? Maybe I have to start from certain resources that's going to give me the opportunity to be an employee. Certain people do contracts. These contracts give them opportunity to be an employer of themselves as well as an employer of others by doing contract deals, you know, and stuff, and contracting with the government, contracting with certain stuff, going as a vendor for the government, going as a vendor for the county, or whatever the case may be. I can tell you from my experience, I tried that route. And I'm going to be real with you. The county that I'm in is very embracing when it came to that. But what I started to notice that I had people depriving me from finances. So the county would be like, hey, we're going to do this for you. And this never showed up. The county would be like, hey, we're going to do that for you. That never showed up. You go back, don't nobody know what you're talking about. So that's something that happened to me as far as business wise, as far as doing any business, which led me to saying, okay, well, I need to maybe work for somebody because I'm not going to get it this way, because one minute is this, the next minute is that. And it's not happening the way I want it to happen. So I can't be an employer because I don't have what it takes at this point to be that. A lot of people get mad. Oh, on this, on that, or whatever. Let's be realistic. I didn't have what it takes. Am I angry? Am I pissed off? Because people was telling me this, and they were telling me about opportunities, and these opportunities supposed to go through, and things are supposed to go the way I want it to go, because I know it can go that way. Let me be real with you. If you sit there thinking like that, knowing that it's supposed to go that way, you're going to sink yourself. You have to move on. It's hard to move on because you hurt. It's hard to move on because you're passionate about what you're doing. You're passionate, and you carry that passion about yourself where you say, I can be great, but I'm just not there yet. They're not, I'm not there yet. I'm going to be great, but I'm not there yet. I have to rethink my strategy. I have to rethink my thinking, and I have to do more stuff to make sure that I am visible, I am seen, and I'm not seen as a threat, but I am seen as a person with the potential, the skills, the know-how to actually execute what I am seeking to do. So, honestly, the first couple contracts I put out, I would do estimates. I say, look, this is an estimate. This is not actually a sound. This is what it's gonna be. It's an estimate. Remind you, you're going up against people that's gonna always try to do it cheaper. Why are they gonna do it cheaper than you? They have connections. You don't. So if you sit up there and you go the route of saying you're gonna do contracts or whatever, remind you, you're going up and you're bidding against people that have networks. They have connections. If you're planning to bid, you want to bid 3 times more than what you would originally bid. Why am I saying this? Okay, I got staffing. I might have to pay that staff 3 times more than what I expected to pay that staff. Why? Because a lot of people don't like the work. So I have to include that in. So the salary base that I'm including in is a regular salary times 3. And this is just for me doing a contract. What I spend on supplies, I have to sit up there and say, okay, well, this is supplies times 3. This is the cost times 3. Why am I doing that? Because I notice with inflation that as I go to the supermarket and as I go to the store, my cost for eating, my cost for survival, my cost for living is survival times 3. What I pay for my apartment is double what it's supposed to be. Double what it's supposed to be. Double what it's supposed to be. What I pay to eat, a lot of my eating things that I'm eating is double, sometimes triple what it's supposed to be. So I had to come up with strategies. Like I told you, I'm tired of eating chicken. It's reduced. $2. I buy the rotisserie chicken. Sometimes it's like what, a day or two old, but they reduced it down to $2. I take that, I freeze it. It's already pre-cooked. When I get ready to utilize it, I can utilize it. Honestly, this is how I save money. But I know that if I'm bidding, I have to bid 3 times what I think that contract costs. And you may not understand it right now, but when you get in the hustle or bustles of things, when you start going on those attacks because nobody wants you with a contract, when you start going up under, see, this is the thing, the government just gives it to you. Hey, you're good. See you later, buddy. But what you didn't know, it's a group of terrorists, a group of jokers, a group of people that say we're the only ones who's supposed to get contracts, not you. And then you become a target, and now you're paying out 3, sometimes 4, 5 times more than what the contract costs because that contract is up under attack and they wanted it. And they don't talk to you about that. So you got to take all that into consideration too. Your business is falling. Why is it falling? I want the contract. So you're dealing with bullies, dealing with bulls, dealing with people with the mullet personality. You know, they supposed to be serving God, but they serving animals. You're dealing with a lot of different stuff that you don't want to deal with. So that's just the part of you basically getting contracts, bidding, become a vendor in your community, or whatever the case may be. You may never get one. That's a harsh reality. Get prepared to deal with that. Because of all of these different things going on, and like I said, financial abuse going on, now you have to go into, what can I do? I can work. I can labor. Okay, let's do that. So now you go out, you try to find a job. First of all, most of the companies like to lowball you. Why are they lowballing you? They don't maybe have intentions of lowballing you. It's basically they're looking at their costs, they're looking at their expenses, they're looking at inflation, they're looking at a whole bunch of different things, and they need workers. You need a job. They only want to pay 14 something an hour in a society where rent is $1,500, $1,000. And this is just rent, just for a 1 bedroom. I had a woman tell me 1 bedrooms are like 500. 2 bedrooms are almost 2,000. You know, we are living in a time where $14 an hour really does not take care of the essential needs of anyone in a household. If you're a teenager, that's good. Mom, dad takes care of the bills. You don't have anything to worry about. You're living with family. You're living with people. You have a support system. As far as starting a life, 14, 17, $18 an hour. really isn't going to buy you the life that you really want. But it is a start towards engineering a life that may be acceptable. So sometimes we're going to have to take what we don't want to take to engineer a life that's acceptable. So once you take that $14 an hour, or if you don't take it, what are other opportunities that's out there? Oh, I can sign up for housing. Okay. But what are we learning about our housing system? Our housing system was created to actually advance our people. What I dealt with when I was on housing was attacks. First of all, the first attack is you're going halfway out of your doggone mind because you can't think properly. Proper thinking. And a lot of people, we don't talk about how it was for us as women to be on housing authority, public housing, Section 8, or anything like that. And it pisses me the hell off because as a young woman, we have to realize that there are things that compel us. And we are being compelled, manipulated by sin or by certain things, right? Okay. So we have these young men that are opportunists, um, living the life of hoism. I'm not going to tell you that their lifestyle is in worship to the commandments of God. They live in alternative lifestyles against God, but they want to be called people of God, and they're not. Their God and my God is two different things. What they worship and what I worship is two different things. If you worship everything on the opposite end of the sword of God and the word of God, don't think that that's a part of God. I understand the word of God is a double-edged sword, but the way you live it and the way I live it is two different ways. So it's different. They worship how can I put it? They worship Satan. They worship Baal. They worship a lot of things that I don't worship. And they're very manipulative. They worship theft. They worship lying. They worship stealing and stuff like that. I don't. And they want to compel you and have authority over you with those type of things going on. Sin wants to rule over you. They're the type that feels that there are senseis. And what a sensei is supposed to be is a master, according to them, of sin. So they're saying you're going to do what they say because they're in sin. So you're under those type of attacks as you're in housing because you have men with alternative lifestyle in your area. So they come and they try to cope with you. You may not want to talk to them, but somehow you end up talking to these type of fellows. And you end up vulnerable in housing, dating these type of unsavory characters. And of course, they're going to tell you they're men of God. They ain't. Ain't nothing godly about them. They don't know God. They don't want God. They ain't going to keep nothing close to the word of God. So when you get on Section 8, you have to keep your eye out for those type of things. That's why it's not good to date. Man should not sleep with mankind. Apostle Paul says it's better to be alone. All you're going to do is fill your house with children, illegitimate children, children that are not connected to a marriage, not receiving the love and the care that they need because you docile in housing, not getting what they need because of the fact that you felt trapped and victim to one of the terrorist attacks that goes on right there in housing authority. And that terrorist attack is making women fall victim to hoism, fall victim to sexual immorality, which means that you have multiple partners, fall victim to a lot of stuff. Pretty much you the murder show without even being on murder. And they're not going to tell you that. So when you get on housing, the first thing I'm going to tell a woman or man, whatever you are, when you get on housing, first thing, don't date. Focus on what you need to focus on. Come up with a game plan. Okay, I got them paying the rent, but I don't want them paying my rent forever. I want to work. I take this from a person that spent 10 years on housing, Section 8, and all of these different things, and then finally regathered her life and rebuilt her life. Should it have taken 10 years? No. But guess what? You grow complacent with the abuse. Because half of the stuff in your community and in your neighborhood, when you have nothing, it's abusive. It's hurting you. I mean, even our education system is hurtful, insulting, humiliating. It carries forth a shame because we're not financially able. So, yes, housing is an opportunity for you to have a place to sleep when you're homeless. Housing is an opportunity for you to grow and develop. But now, this is a question you're going to ask yourself. Am I going to stay on housing forever? Or am I going to build myself where I don't need it? Whatever decision you make is pretty much your decision. But do not blame anybody else when you have generational family housing, depending on the government, depending on financial handout. I remember them building a welfare program called, the whole purpose of our welfare program was to create self-sufficiency and in teaching you how to not stay on welfare, but to get off of welfare. But we still found ourselves on welfare for excessively long time. I found myself on housing. I didn't want to be on housing. I didn't want to be on welfare, but I found myself there an excessively long time. And it's stuff that's connected with housing that has nothing to do with the handout. It has everything to do with the setup of the community, keeping you docile and keeping you there where you don't do better. So you have people saying, "Hey, we can build you up, we can lift you up. We'll pay for you to go to school. We'll pay for you to do this. We'll pay for you to do that." You have that genuine "I care," and then on the other end of that, you have the traps of the community where there's a group of people in the community. Their agendas is alternative to these people saying, "Look, we're here to help." They're not. They're here to hurt. They're here to hinder. They're here to stop you. So you find yourself in housing. You find yourself on welfare. You find yourself on these programs that should have been for short term, but you're there long term because of everything that's going on. The attacks that's going on, the terrorists that reside within your community, the vultures that don't want to see you do better, that don't want to see your children do better. See, we got a group of people in our communities that are terrorists that need to have their tail locked up. But they're still out roaming, attacking the community, hindering the community, hindering you, trying to keep you where you at. And there's people fighting against that. Look, we're here to help. We're here to build. We're here to develop the community. We're here to make the community better. And sometimes those very same programs that's supposed to be there to make the community better, those same terrorist people infiltrate those programs, start to work for those programs, and then tearing down those same programs from within the program to make sure that the system does not work appropriate or properly for you and you never elevate. So be careful if that's one of the routes that you choose to take. Hold on, this is part one. I'm getting ready to go into part two. Give me a second. I have to cut this off right here.